back.
Welcome back.
It's good to be
Montreal
back.
felt empty without you.
Yes, my life was empty.
I heard the sun wasn't shining.
It was not.
Nothing. We were crying yesterday. Even the clouds were crying for you.
Clean up the sidewalks with those tears, those salty sidewalks.
Did you cut your hair?
Did you cut your hair again?
No, not again.
Okay.
Okay.
Just maybe the front is a bit
Yeah.
shorter
Oh,
now.
it's a little
Yeah.
greasy. Probably time for a wash.
How are you I'm all oiled up. I'm doing great. I'm doing
You're
great.
beaming.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all the complaining
Castor
we
oil.
did
Yeah,
before.
We went to the spa together.
We-
We
Yes.
went on Thursday, and I did the cold plunge 4 times.
Isn't it amazing?
And
She was really good.
I
I
stayed
was,
for like 2 minutes. The last
she stayed along with me. Like she was just chilling
Wow.
there with me. I
The
was
first
like,
time I
good
was
for
like, I don't
you.
know if I can do that. I was like, for 30 seconds and I left. And every time I go out, I stay longer. And then with her, I stayed like, yeah, we stayed for
That's
a
You did
while.
very well.
Yeah.
We should go the 3 of us.
Yeah. We should.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Anytime.
Let's pick a date.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. And I released some stuff. It's weird how a spa can just trigger some stuff in you.
Because your nervous system is relaxing,
yeah.
right?
Mm.
Good.
Yeah.
It was quiet enough where you felt like you
Well,
could...
when I did the sauna, and then I said I'm gonna go and just outside, but there was a fire pit. There was just, and there's nice like beds. So I was just under a blanket, and I'm looking at the water and the fire, and there was not a lot of people in that area, and I started just crying. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I felt sorry for myself at some point. I was like, I don't know why it triggered something in me. Just the fact that I was there, I started thinking about the fact that I was not hugged when I was a kid. My whole childhood went without being hugged, or nobody had. Anyway, so I don't know why it just happened like that, and I was just feeling sorry. And I told her, and she hugged me.
I'll hug you anytime, baby.
That is an important feeling to go through, that feeling sorry for yourself, because we spend so much time pushing that away, and it's like,
Yeah.
no, just let yourself feel sorry for like that's such an important
Well, I didn't
space to
even
sit.
like it. It was subconscious. Like I was not sitting there. I was like, okay, let's think about something that's gonna make me feel. It just popped in like out of nowhere. Like, what is this? What?
Was this after the cold plunge?
One
Or
of
cup
them.
'em?
The
Okay.
first one, the quick one.
Quick one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when I do cold plunge, it does feel like something's getting kind of loosened
Yeah.
up. Like it's just
Maybe that cold and hot, and it was kind of chilly outside. I was just wearing my robe, and I had my hoodie on, and under the blanket, and the warmth of the fire.
sounds lovely.
So, yeah, and beautiful kind of sunsetty. Yeah. So the mood was for like melancholy, you know. I was like, all right, let's release
You're
something
hugging yourself
here.
harder right now than you were ever
Yeah.
hugged by your parents.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. Now we have to kind of reparent
Yeah.
ourselves and hug ourselves and
Yeah.
hug that little girl.
And that night when I went home, I started journaling about it, and I spoke to my inner child, and I told her that I love her, and I hugged her and everything. So it just,
Nice.
yes.
Yeah, that's great. That was fun. That was really good.
Mm.
So tell us about you, about your
Yeah,
trip.
how
My
was
trip
your-
was good. It was really nice. We decided, as much as I don't like surprises, because on that Monday, as I found out, I let my mom know. I'm like, hey, can I still come? She's like, of course. And I'm like, should we let everyone else know? I'm like, no, we'll let it be a surprise. So my family got, like, my siblings and stuff were surprised that I was there. So that was fun to kind of be like, what? They were genuinely like, we weren't expecting him. Like, I wasn't supposed to be here, but it worked out. So that was fun. The plane ride there, I did my usual. Oh, that's when I had my music going.
Yes.
And then
Nobody was at the airport, like the whole area where you
Well,
were.
I got to my gate, and sometimes if I have enough time, I let myself get a massage. So sometimes I'm a little motivated to get to the airport early because it's like then I can do a longer massage. But the massage therapist at the spa in the airport wasn't available, and so there was only manicures. I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna do that. I'm like, my nails are a mess. But not in a fun way. So I was like, so I sat down at my gate and I was just sitting there. I was like, I have a whole hour to sit here. Like I could at least maybe get some steps in. So I just started walking, and then I got to the end of the at the Montreal airport. the American departures all have their own section. And back in the day, you get to the store and you could walk through it, and go a little bit further. I got to the door and it was locked. So I was just like, well, then I'll just have to go back down and just kind of, whatever. I could have. But then it was like I was sitting, there was this big empty space terminal, part of the terminal that wasn't being used. Like it just empty. And the sun was shining through. So it's like, I'm just going to sit here. I could just sit alone. And then I was like, oh, I could dance a little bit. So I just put on some fun dancey music and just started dancing in the terminal. But it was like some people saw me, but there were people who were also just kind of walking. Because I was in a Pirates of the Airport where no one's going for a flight. You're just going if you're looking for some place to walk. So it's like other walkers will understand what this is. I'm not like this crazy histrionic person just looking for attention. Like it was fun. And then like the sunlight was coming. It was a little bit gray, but every now and then the sun would come through. So for like 45 minutes, I just did some hard dancing.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I recorded a little bit and sent it to you guys.
Nice.
But, yeah.
And then you got to read.
Yeah,
I love
she's
her.
amazing.
Oh my God, I follow her and the stuff.
Funny.
She's hilarious.
That little
she's like a
DJ.
little child. She's very like
Yakomura,
sweet and
yeah.
like she posts a lot of memes. It's just like
She's like the meme queen.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
She's coming this summer.
I know.
Yeah, we
she's
get to
coming
see
to
her
pick me.
again.
I want to go see her again. Yeah,
I'm definitely going to see her.
Yeah,
And she's good. Like I noticed when she was at Boiler Room, she reposted everyone who tagged her in a video. And so I when I was picking music, I wasn't picking it for that reason. I wasn't planning on recording myself, but I was listening to her music. And then when I shared it online, I was like, oh, I might as well tag her. She's the one who's providing. And she reshared it immediately, like within seconds. It's like, oh my gosh, that was quick. But yeah, like rave rooms at airports. Come on, Air Canada. Like, let's do
They
this.
need to start doing that.
That's what's missing. Yes.
Seriously, people are sitting there just like looking at their phones and stuff. They should have a space where they
Either
can
there's
have.
like music just being pumped in, or everyone just puts on their own music and just does their own dancing. I don't know, but like I was like that would be like I know
even for children, like when you have children, like they are not sitting and just they're like all over the place.
we
It
just
will
could
have them
dance off some of that extra energy before we get on a flight. It was so much fun. It was great. Yeah. And then, the flight took off, and then I started thinking about Marty and what, like, there was some big revelations that came down. Like, it was really good. Like, I'm realizing, like, trust, like, my bigger role in the world, I think, is to help restore trust between the genders. I feel like that's a part of what I'm supposed to be doing. And then I realized, well, that begins at home, right? So it's like,
Of course, yeah.
so trust kept coming up, and like what you shared last week was so interesting about like how your partner was having physical pain, and then that caused you have to talk in a way that solved or created space to have deeper communication with one another that ultimately led to no longer having pain in his body. It was just like, well, my partner's known nothing but pain in his body. And so since I've known him and before, I'm not the cause, I don't think. But it's like, well, maybe maybe he needs a place of such deep trust. Like his pain there needs to be some trust there that I want to walk with him along and I guess unconsciously for the last year, as I've gotten more into dancing and more into psychedelics, like these are things that he doesn't have fun with. And it hasn't really gotten in the way of our relationship, but I can imagine even in my own mind, it was just like, are we getting pulled apart here? Like, is nature kind of like, did we learn everything we needed to learn from one another? Now it's time to go our separate ways. And it occurred to me on that flight, in the Ram Dass stuff too, like he talked about when he had his stroke, how he had this one vision of who he was, but now all of a sudden he wasn't that person. And you could fight that, or you can kind of allow it and find that there's new things to be learned in this new version of yourself. So all those things kind of coming together to realize like, no, I'm in this. I'm committed. I am going to walk beside you, whatever this takes. And the other it's always so complicated. The other thing that kept coming up in my meditation was like, there was a version of myself who stayed in an unhealthy relationship way too long.
Right.
And so it's just like, is this that? Like, am I staying in a relationship? Like, what's the difference between this and that? And so I kind of had to be like, I had to work really hard to put myself in a situation where I was making choices and who was in my life and who wasn't, and I wasn't just staying with someone out of obligation or fear. So it's just like I had to kind of walk that line of what's the difference here. And it occurred to me on that flight, it was like, the difference here is this is not abusive. As long as this relationship is loving, I still have things to learn. Yeah. And if he needs to go to a dark place, I'm there. I don't, like that's okay. As long as we're loving, like, and I could see if someone gets sicker, it could shift. It could shift to where there's resentment
and
or
anger.
Yeah. And if that happens, then I had to reevaluate. But as long as it's not abusive, like, I'm in this, I'm for real. So that was, and so when I landed, it's probably like a conversation that should be had, but instead I just sent a text. I'm like, in sickness and health, death do us part. I know we're not married, but I'm committed. This is, and
plus you knew all of this since day one. You knew that he had this issue with his health, and you agreed to be with him despite that, right?
Yeah.
So you know what you signed up for since day one.
Right, and this newest thing is kind of showing, well, there's more to it. I mean, like, there's the version that I've signed up for, and this was, now we're kind of staring down the barrel. Like, it could shift dramatically, and I had to sit with it. I had to, it wasn't just automatic. And I'm realizing, like, every day it's a choice to be with the people we're with. It's not just, I decided this 6 years ago and now, because I'm presented with new men in my life constantly who like the things I like and do the things I do. But I still choose him. Marty is, I choose him over all those, like, so to reaffirm that to him, like, because I imagine the any kind of fears he's dealing with, if he had one last thing to worry about, and that no matter what happens, as long as you're not abusive to me, I am by your side. And so you don't have to worry about that. Like, if there's whatever fears you have, if you can let that one go and trust in me to be there by you, then you can worry on, but like, if we need to get to such a deep level of trust for you to heal, or if, I don't know, that's his journey. The only thing I can be, like I said last time, is by your side. And I'm committing myself to that, no matter what that looks like. So yeah, that was a big one. And then just to get a little text, we're like, don't worry about me. I'm here. So obviously we're going to have a deeper conversation, or maybe he'll just watch this and, but that was really good. It was a lot of clarity came on that flight. Like, just, I have my my choir music and my gummy, and I had my row to myself, and then like this meditation of trust came down. It was like, I need to make it explicit. It's one thing to be there, but it's just explicitly let him know, like, wherever this takes us, I'm here. As I'm flying.
As I'm flying away. Plus, I'm thinking, like, you can be with somebody who's super healthy, and one day they'll get a stroke or something. So how would you, like, act or react to that? Like, would you just leave them because they're sick? Or,
I think,
this is the thing. Like, you don't know what's gonna happen in any relationship. As long as you say there is love, maybe that's what you're supposed to do. I don't know. Just I'm thinking, like, in any relationship, something can happen to us, even
my
us.
Cousin was married to a super healthy guy, no problems, and then he got in a accident in water, and he's been in a wheelchair ever since. And she's stuck by his side, and she's committed. And what Ram Dass talks about is, like I said, like, you think this is the end of your life, and in ways it is, but new doors are opening. There's new things to learn, and now this new state. And my life experience shows me that when things get darker, it just means there's greater treasure to be found, like greater healing to be there. Yeah. And and also, I think choosing the other way, there's nothing wrong with that either. Like you said, like I could, there was a point where I was seeing our paths maybe separate a little bit. And so if a woman in the same situation might realize, oh, I don't want to follow him down that path. I'm choosing to be, and that's a valid choice too. Like, there's no wrong or right, but I just realized for me, I'm trusting that when things get hard, they've been hard in my life before, and I've always looked back and I was grateful for that hard experience. And so I'm going to be grateful for this hard experience. I mean, even worst case scenario, he dies. something happened or he dies young, you know, like, and I want to be, I want to be there by his side if that happens. I don't want to have said, you know what, this is too much for me, I'm out. Like, how am I gonna like restore the faith in the genders if I on the first if like bailed? So I was grateful this rupture. Not there wasn't a rupture, but I was grateful for this opportunity to have to kind of really consciously see what our relationship is and choose with earnest to go to step into that darkness. Another, you know, so that was good. And then trying to explain that to my parents, my mom's like, "What are you talking?" I think when I talked to her,
Well, I think there's so many layers in there, you know, and I love that because I love also how, like, the question that Lam asked, I think, okay, so in sickness and in health, right, for sure, as long as, you know, someone gets sick or someone has health problems and you're there and you know about them, and that's fine. And you said that as long as there's no abuse, right? And all that is good. But the layers for me are that, okay? And you'll tell me in the Ram Dass book what's his take on this. For me, it's about, okay, well, if anything, what is it?
We didn't start the timer.
Oh, the timer. I'm like, what is it? No, my mic is good.
how far are we? What does the sound say?
The sound.
I need my glasses.
Oh.
It says 16.
16 minutes
Okay.
in.
So, this
So
is
we know
19.
that at 45.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Is it
Cool.
playing?
No,
geez.
it's not. Yeah.
Yeah,
it
okay,
is.
so that one's
okay.
3 minutes ahead.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Sorry, sweetie. You
No
were
worries,
right.
no worries.
It's okay. We can.
Yeah, I'll go. No, I have my. So I was saying, so many layers. So it's one thing, okay, because having to be by the side of someone going through something difficult, whether it be health or anything else, I think that's partnership, right? So that's not really like the debate here. I think the layers that come, like you said, is how's that person dealing with the challenges they're going through. Are they projecting it all on you? Are they being abusive about it? Are they Are they taking what's theirs and doing their work? You know, all these variables come into
amount
play.
of responsibility they have with
Yes,
their
they can't
illness.
just because dump it all on you and you because it's partnership to be with someone through thick and or thin. That's the, you know, that's proper. And I think that's what we've been through to a certain degree, you know, this kind of abuse in a relationship. So it's not about somebody going through something challenging, whether it be health or not. It's really the attitude of the person. And if there's love, then yes, I think it's fair to keep showing no matter what the challenge is. But there's also something real about how the person's approaching the challenge as well. If you're someone that's also been challenged in your life and has spent all your energy to change and overcome, whether it be
Dedicated to growth.
and to find the root of your illness, you know, whatever's not going well, whether it be mental or physical, as if the premise is that it's all kind of holistic, like it's all the same system, you know, whether it's all connected, whether the illness or whatever the ailment or whatever the challenge shows up, however it shows up, if the premise and the idea is that, well, it's all rooted in something within deep, and each one of us needs to unearth that themselves, you know, I'll walk next to you as long as you want to unearth it, because if you just want to loop this I am challenged, you know, scenario, I personally don't think I can do that kind of partnership.
Right. That's what I think I was at that point. It was just like I was seeing choices he was making and seeing that it had a self-sabotage nature to it. So I could totally legitimately see someone saying, "Hey, you know what? I don't want to be part. Like this is your road to hoe." And so I don't like. I think that's a very, especially where you are in your development. If you still have savior issues or codependency things, like it might be a good choice. You might be doing yourself. It's a step forward in your own growth to say, it's not appropriate. I can't be here for this because I have unresolved stuff that's only gonna get triggered by this stuff. There's more healing I need to do in order to be available for that.
Oh, but that's fine. That's a great opportunity to do one's healing, actually. You know what I mean? But then if let's say this kind of opportunity arises to be like, oh, okay, I have these triggers, I see these patterns, this is a kind of situation that triggers me, I'm going to see where this takes me back to, which kind of programming or which root of it was for me. And with the understanding that, no, I'm not, if I want partnership, I will not bail out just because I get triggered or these are something deep. But no, what I'm trying to say is that, well, if the other person is also not willing to see, well, I have these issues and these challenges, and what are these roots for me? What does it mean for me, for the other person to do the work? So we can both move forward. You had shared something about matching energy. How like two people, if you don't match my energy, that reel that she had shared about, it's in partnership. When, well, it was from the perspective of a girl, like, moving on in her life and expanding her interests and her consciousness and
And recognizing the type of partner who's gonna
she wanted to
match that
to be that. She's like, well, matching energy is a real thing, and matching energy could be in different spheres. I mean, I don't personally need, and I don't know if you agree with that, but I don't need my partner to come dancing with me or to have like the exact same hobbies or outlets as me or tools for me
It's
to.
a bonus if they do.
If they do, they do. If they don't,
you
they
have
don't.
other people who do that.
Of
with you.
course,
like friendships
exactly.
are very
Friendships
important.
are for that too.
Yeah.
And I have
You
different
can't
spheres
put
of
all
my
your
life.
eggs in one
Exactly.
basket.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But where the matching energy for me is important is exactly in the circumstances of challenges that we are both committed to holding ourselves accountable for the root of these challenges that we're facing. We're gonna walk side by side, and I will hold space, and I would imagine that the other person would hold space for me, as long as we could see what comes up and then move forward.
Yeah, it's more of a mutual. You're both doing your work.
Yes.
Yeah, rather than one stuck in a pattern, whereas the other one's like, I want to grow like that. I mean, this is probably the biggest cause of divorce, right? It's a subconscious thing, but like, yeah, that was part of the meditation. It's like I recognize, like, you get to a point where you've learned all the lessons you can with someone, if they're not willing to change, and then you gotta either stay in your own patterns in that, or you recognize, and it's not the conscious, like, I'm done learning from this abusive relationship. No, it's later in retrospect, you realize, I learned everything I knew. But when it came through, it's like, no, I have still things to learn in this relationship. Mm-hmm. If I step further into this, there's more I can learn. And it's because to your point, I see that he is doing the work, and it's maybe not the way I would do it, or whatever, but it's like, that's fine. That's part of my work, is recognizing, is respecting his path. And, so it's like, if someone's not doing the work, that's a great, no health, whatever. That's a great opportunity to reevaluate the relationship.
Right.
But in my position, it's like, no, he is doing the work, and life is putting the pressure on, and it's going to either make or break. Like, something's going to give, and worst case scenario, he passes away. Like, I don't think that's immediately on the menu.
You keep saying, is that like?
But
you said it twice. Like,
no, but I'm like,
shit.
Is that serious?
Oh, no, well, I mean, just
How do you think he would feel if he listens to this?
I guess it's just like, the
like,
worst case
she keeps
scenario,
saying, I'm gonna die.
Worst case
No, but I understand
in
what
life,
you mean.
the
Yes,
worst thing that can happen is death. Right? Everything else can be a lesson. And so that's just kind of and death itself is a lesson, but that's a whole other thing. But yeah, no, he is immediate. To clarify, I don't think he's looking at something that's life-threatening.
Right.
Yeah. Okay,
thank
you for clarifying this, because I got
She keeps
poor Marty.
It's 50-50,
be
guys.
worried.
Oh no! Tell him not to watch this episode. Tell him Lamia showed her boobs. Don't watch this episode.
Disgusting.
Her disgusting boobs.
What were you saying the other day? They're old. you were shitting on your own boobs. That's
Yeah.
a circus trick.
That's self-deprecation. I don't know why I keep shitting on my boobs. I love my boobs. They're fantastic.
Boobs are amazing.
Yeah, just they're
fantastic.
fantastic.
Stay humble. You
Amazing.
gotta
I
stay
have the
humble.
best boobs in the world.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I see your point. I think, and I think.
Yeah,
I've-
yeah,
I've-
but that's amazing to come to that because, and I think we come to that in this act of our life after having been through, I mean, codependent relationships and abuse, like, and the abuse that comes with codependency and the toxicity and all that. So, yeah, but it's important, and I think Marty's lucky to have you, and you're lucky to have him. Marty's great. I
very
love
lucky to have.
Marty.
Like when I think about it, like just a
He's
couple
amazing.
years.
Seriously,
He
he's
is
such
amazing.
a lovely,
He's so
lovely
great.
He's a sweetheart,
human
yes.
being.
I'm
Yeah.
very lucky to have him. I love that he gets along well with my friends. Like he's just my kids love him. So yeah, like
He's a quality human being. There's something to say about quality human beings, because we all have our work and we all have our stories and we all have our scenarios and our
all going through
the way we
stuff and-
function
yeah.
is different from one another. Like nobody functions the same way as the other, it's impossible and everything. So quality human beings are
Are a gift.
yes, are a
Yeah.
gift. Yes.
and to be a quality person, but also someone who still has work to do. You know what I mean? Like that. There's those
all
things. that-
have. Like
Yeah,
we
we
all
all have
done.
work to do.
Yeah,
Nobody's done.
No one.
Bing. And then I know.
Yeah, like the
No, but
microwave.
This is what I'm learning. Like I have more to learn. Like just
Yeah.
as Ram Dass learned from his stroke, he wouldn't have. If given a choice, hey, do you want to wake up this morning with a stroke or not? 9 times, no one's gonna say yes. Give me a stroke. But when it's given to you, now what? And it's just like, okay, now what? Now I'm ready to learn what needs to be learned here. I'm ready to.
And sorry, no it's like this is an interruption. She's like, oh. So from Ram Dass's perspective, getting the stroke, how does he? How did it change him? What did it give him? What perspective did it give
Well,
him?
he had to learn. He had to learn how to be reliant on other people, which was a big one for him. Like just to move around and then he was making his living speaking and writing, and now his speech was really slow. And so when he was trying to answer, he noticed that through the slowness, people actually started coming up with the answers themselves. So just instead of like giving out lessons, just the act of someone coming up to him and asking a question and him slowly trying to get it, they came up with the answer themselves. So he's just like, oh, I'm even a better
It gives them
teacher
pause
now.
to think.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like they're so impatient they have to look for the answer themselves.
Or if you have someone who can give it to you, like that's what his role was. But now he couldn't give it as fast as they were able to kind of do their own awareness. So a lot of times just the asking of the question is enough, but asking the question to Ram Dass, you used to get a hilarious, beautiful answer. But now, because his speech was slowed, he couldn't really give it that way. But that allowed the student to even become a stronger learner because they were coming to the conclusions without him having to hear the words come out of his mouth. So there was that, and just a lot of other things, like having to just spending more time in quiet and just really being grateful for that. So yeah, I mean, it was it's such a it makes sense. I mean, there was nothing new there, but I'm just my instinct to grab that book and then read it, and it took a couple weeks, but there's like, yeah, this is an opportunity for me to go deeper into whatever I need to learn, and like you said, I'm lucky to have Marty, but Marty's lucky to have me, but I'm so lucky to have him because just 2 years into our relationship, not even 2 years, is when the drama really became acute with losing my daughter Max, and he was by my side that whole time. Like he would wake up and I'd be crying in bed, and he would just hold me. And I learned later that that whole situation, he would go home and it caused him to cry about some stuff that he was, brought stuff up in him, but he stayed strong. Like he just for
Like
me,
abandonment issues. and
sure,
stuff,
yeah. So it's just like now I get the chance to really sit with him through some difficult times. So it's like, and yeah, so to be able to be grateful for that and be clear with him to know, like, I'm not going to, like, as long as you're nice to me, I'm not going anywhere. And so you, like, if that makes it easier for you to heal or to do your own work, like, yell at me. So like, and I like, that's what I mean. Like, there's, I don't know, not yell at me, but I get I'm being very conscious.
Punch me in the face.
I don't want an
Talking
abusive
about,
relationship.
I don't want to abuse him, but like,
But you can yell at me.
yelling, like pull my hair.
Well, that
That's kind of nice.
slap my ass a little more.
A little whip whip.
But yeah, like, you can sit in your anger, and I'm okay with that. I mean, don't try to put it on me.
Of
Don't
course,
claim that I'm the one who's triggering. Like, but like, if you need to be angry, if you need to cry, like, none of this is gonna scare me away. You know. So yeah, that was good for me, and I think it's gonna be good for him. And yeah, I'm now excited. Like, going to the hospital. Yeah.
But that's great. That's amazing. You know, because I'm sure it brought you a lot of peace as well. To kind of know where you stand, like how you're gonna move forward.
Yeah, it was a little muddled, and I was just like, is this meant for? Is this where we're supposed to spend a certain amount of time together and then go our separate way? Like, but that didn't make sense either, and I was just like, that doesn't feel right. And so, just kind of that meditation of trust, and what does that mean, and how is, because I stayed in an abusive relationship for 24 years. He's read, you know, what are the books? I can't even know the name. He's read a couple of books that are just like insane, that you have to like dedicate 2 years of your life to get through them. Like Gravity's Rainbow and Infinite Jest. He's read both of them, and like, so it's like we are both people who are like fully committed to difficult tasks, you know. So it's like in my mind I would joke, like, between us two we would never break up. But then this thing was kind of put here in front of me, and then to kind of have to put it in contrast to yeah, it's not preferable, but it is what it is. And as long as it's not abusive, like to that little discernment of abuse versus non-abuse, right. This is like, oh, okay, yeah. So I'm not bringing up old patterns. This isn't me sticking around out of guilt or fear or obligations. Like, no, I'm choosing this for myself. And I think there's growth to be had here. So I'm going in. So
there you go. But that's growth right there.
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm choosing this. This is my choice. If I didn't want, could just walk away, and it's.
I don't want him to feel like this is some sort of obligation. You know, like I'm going in eyes wide open. I'm here. I'm doing it. So whatever may come, let me be thy servant. Thy will be done. Bloom where you're planted. That's it. I'm done.
Beautiful. And that's, again, that's why community is so beautiful, because then it's not only on you, ideally in a community that's settled and that's like, in each other, you wouldn't be the only one that helps, even though it's your intimate partner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it would be the whole community
there
for
whoever
wants to
chip in or lend a hand or something.
Yeah, whoever can help,
yeah.
and to know that you.
And we're here for you as well.
Right.
If
yes.
it becomes
because
too heavy,
we
can support you through it. You're not just doing it alone. Like when you need the rest, or you need to vent, or you need to
dance,
or you need my car.
Yes. All that
stuff like that.
Grocery runs.
Like if you need me to go and do your Costco run, I'll do it for you, but you're not just alone in this.
Like,
neither is
built
he.
Such a beautiful community, and it's just getting stronger. And because like Ollie and Marty have a nice connection, and I think it can only get deeper. Mm-hmm. So it's just like, I'm not like, I guess maybe that was part of it too. Is just like, okay, so what if I decide, you know what, there's just too much now. I'm not choosing this. What am I gonna do? Like, bring some new guy in?
That's what I was thinking the whole time you were talking about this stuff. It's like, you're gonna start all over again, and then you're gonna find somebody who's 100% perfect and doesn't have any issues, doesn't have anything that's gonna trigger something in you. It's impossible. like you said, as long as it's not an abusive and toxic relationship.
Yeah, because that's not a reason not to stay in a relationship.
no. I'm not
not
saying-
because you're like, oh, what am I gonna do? Start over or bring
No,
somebody
I'm not
else?
saying
or-
no, don't.
no,
no.
that's not a good reason.
Let me finish. I was just saying, like she said, shut up, bitch. Let the wise person here talk, please. You
Sorry.
two just pretend to be wise. I listened quietly for 15 minutes.
That's a lot, indeed.
I'm gonna explode. See, I don't even know what I'm gonna say. No, I was really like thinking, yes, okay, you can do that choice and leave and start all over again. But why did you leave? Like the guy, like you said, it's not a toxic relationship. He's loving and he's a good person and all this stuff. So maybe taking that decision, I'm not telling you what to do. It's just my thoughts. Yeah, you're gonna start all over again, and then you're gonna find another challenge and another thing.
Sure.
That's so it's never gonna be 100% ideal. So you have to just maybe check the reasons why you are leaving. And you
100%.
said it, as long as not toxic and abusive, and he's an amazing person. And it's fucking hard to find a good man.
That's where we're going.
Jesus Christ!
That's probably helping.
Yes.
Your stories
Yes.
have helped.
My
inform
story
decision.
is they are not everywhere. That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, to find someone in that
True.
age cohort who's
Yes.
open to some of these, like, and isn't prone to put their trauma on me. Like, that's pretty rare in that age range. So I know, like, a lot of younger, it seems to be like younger guys have more.
I dated from like 15 years old. No, I'm joking.
16.
legal.
The law here.
Still. Legal here in Canada. was
Fine
the,
in
like,
Quebec, but you couldn't travel to Ontario. That's when you know you're.
seriously, like what? It's yeah.
But what about soul contracts then? Can we introduce that concept?
What's soul contract now?
Well, okay. And don't quote me on this, but this is what I
Always quote you on everything you said. You're on camera.
Yeah, that's why I say don't quote me on this. But this is what I believe. We make these contracts with the people that have a meaning. I think we make contracts with everyone we interact with, even like the mailman. There's some kind of contracted energy, co-creation, interaction. So imagine coming to like the intimate relationships that we have in our lives. And it's like you have mentioned it in a sense where a contract is that you interact with a person up until a certain time where that interaction serves both, right? And then the contract expires. But most human relationships, we go over the expiration date by a lot, especially because we entered the construct of, the institution of marriage, and then you stay whether your soul contract is over or not, just because,
Right, it ended a while ago. I just didn't know that it
Right.
ended. Yeah.
We don't know, and we don't, we're
Takes
not
a
like...
few rounds around. We're like, wait a minute, I don't feel we're learning anything anymore in this.
Yes, and marriage, we usually enter marriage up until very recently. Most people that do enter marriage, they don't think, I'm going to stay for, a couple, decade or two, see how the contract's doing after that. You think it's going to be forever. That's when you get married, you're like forever. But then, okay, so take that idea of soul contracts and do it with everybody, So this is why I come back to the idea. I don't think just because, yes, there are no, maybe they're not a dime a dozen, these quality men out there, but you are a quality human being as well, and so are you. So if there, it's a matter of contract. If the contract is over, and you don't feel it and you don't make that choice to be like, oh, okay, well, it's over now, I will walk away, then life, I believe, will bring you certain circumstances or certain feelings, or
A
states
certain
of
unpeace.
yeah, certain states of being that things that to you like, okay, well, maybe things have
It's time for you to
expired here.
reevaluate this.
Yeah. So the same thing. So then it doesn't matter, even if you're 70 and you don't feel like being with someone, and that means maybe that from 70 on you're by yourself, and that's the best and you've contracted this, like, I'm not gonna have an intimate relationship from that on. Or maybe at 70 and 75 you meet the love of your life, or the person that's gonna give you that aha, I don't know, realization in life. All I'm saying is, yeah, I contracts, like we have contracts with the people we interact with on a very intimate level. And yeah, don't stay with someone just because there's nobody better out there.
Yeah,
That's
that
all
would
I'm
be.
trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
of
Of course not.
obviously.
You're not getting out waiting for the next one. Like when are you coming? Like no, you take time to.
That's a healthy approach. Some people don't leave the one they're in until the next one's lined
Yes,
up.
yes.
We've seen that before.
Oh yeah.
Or like they jump from one to another.
the
Like
other. Yeah.
our
Yeah. Well, some
good
people
friend Jennifer Lopez.
Our
Yeah.
girl.
Our
girl.
J-Lo.
Yeah, you need to wait.
I
And,
mean, that-
reassess the situation. Why? Well, I don't think a lot of people do that, but I don't know who does that. Like when they finish a relationship, they start reassessing the relationship before they go to the next
Kinda
one.
sit with that. and
Yeah,
break up
like
for a
Comes
bit.
what went
patterns,
wrong,
yeah.
what my responsibility in this, their responsibility. Yeah, so
work. Yeah. People need to start doing their work.
yeah, my
For
God,
sure.
we'd be much better as a human species if everybody was doing their work.
Well, yeah. I mean, people are very, very hardworking at surviving.
Yeah.
Life.
Yeah, when the Matrix
Yeah.
tells us there's limited resources and we had to fight those around us for it, that could
Yeah.
become your whole life. Like
Mhm.
we're very lucky to like be able to sit here on a Tuesday and talk about this stuff because our roofs are over our heads, our
Yeah.
food's in our belly. Like that's a privilege that
Oh, we are the poster ladies for
Privilege.
privilege. But you wouldn't think, because I mean, it's not privilege that comes necessarily from an X amount of money, right? That's not what makes us privileged. We're looking at our privilege like what we can afford as experience. Like, we live in a safe country, we live in a safe city, we live in a cultured city, we live in a culturally rich,
And we
like
have
a
a community.
a
We
community,
have good friends, and we have children. Like
Healthy.
that are
health.
healthy.
We have health.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 So
no, we're very lucky to.
Yeah.
It is that's why it's like it's so easy to like look at how other people are living their lives. It's so easy to be like, you know what, I'm not judging anybody else because that's only from a place of privilege I can even see the trauma that they're stuck in or see the loop they're stuck in. It's like, yeah, if your trauma, work environment, whatever, toxic marriage is keeping you stuck in a loop, and I can see it from my point of privilege, great, but I'm not. Yeah, that's it's love and compassion, baby. I get it. Like this is yeah, this is something we're all going through, and but yeah, that's why New Earth is so exciting. The potential of New Earth is so exciting because when you are only living with people, it's a society where it's only other people who are not fully healed, but are
aware. They're
cognizant
very
of
aware.
trauma,
Yeah.
cognizant of, oh, when something comes up, it's not because that person triggered me. The thing that's being triggered was already inside of me. So this is my thing that needs to work out. Like that's a big step forward in human relationships. So if you're to be able to like think of how much potential there is when all that confusion about whose fault it was, whatever, and that's all put away. It's just like, this thing made me feel this way, and I got to figure out where that came from or why that is. I don't blame you. It came up, but I recognize that you did the thing you did because of the trauma in your life or the unresolved stuff. Like, just that respect of everyone's path and everyone's way forward. Like, that's the way forward. And so, yeah, that's the split. Because some people aren't doing the work. They're not meant to right now, and that's fine, too. That's okay.
No, a lot of people are starting to wake up, but the work needs it's commitment, you know. It's real commitment. But I guess
You think it might be getting easier with nowadays though?
yes, that's what I'm saying. I guess it is getting easier because it's not a self-isolating thing anymore. I think now there's communities, there's
There's a
people,
vocabulary.
there's
People-
vocabulary. Absolutely, there's
No,
we can
they put words on the
yes,
specific.
we can name things now.
You
So
can look around and see the value of work done in the people around you. So it's like,
Absolutely.
oh, I like that. I see that it actually, it's not just a theoretical thing.
yeah, absolutely. People that talk about it, like exactly why the reason why we're having these conversations is. For me, it's also to put it out there to model, like, yeah, I mean, you know, we all have our stories, we all have our gutters, like, you know, everybody has a place in them that's like the gutters. So when we do the work, we can have a conversation, we can talk about it, we can name it. That's healing. And yes, I do think that's going to make things much easier for everyone, and maybe make things exponentially go
Yeah, the
fast.
acceleration
Yes,
is it's here. Yeah,
Which
I
is
see the
really
acceleration
exciting.
in my own development, and just if you just kind of transpose that to on the collective, how quickly, you know, once it starts, the momentum really gets going and it becomes unstoppable. So it's been fun to watch.
There's no going back. The moment you start like doing the work, you don't want to go back, like, or stop.
you can't.
You can't.
Yeah.
You just want to improve all the time and understand more and more and more, because you see the fruits of the labor.
The labor.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But it didn't even feel like labor. Like once you've
Well, labor, not like hard labor. Like, well, sometimes it's hard. It's actually, yeah. I think it's a little bit of a
once you
labor.
get a taste of truth,
Yeah.
in a world of deception, a world of lies, we're just swimming in lies. If once you've anchored onto truth, that resonates with you. It's not because someone told you it was true. Like this thing is true. I feel it in my bones. This is a true thing. Like you said, there's no going back. You can't talk someone out of that truth. And this is why lies, they have no power. Their power only exists in us believing them. But as soon as we're not believing them, and as soon as you're like, oh no, it's like that taste of truth. You just, once you've anchored into that, it's so lovely. That's why I like to see on the political side of things, like in the news, and people are just freaking out. Like we're having honest conversations that you can't control anymore. People aren't going to go back. You can't go back to getting us to believe these lies that we've been raised with. And no wonder they're panicked, because the shadows only exist when there isn't light, but they in themselves aren't real. It's just a lack of light. But as soon as you shine a light on it, the shadow literally disappears.
And now the truth tellers are more and more. You can hear them, and then you see how people react to that truth. Some people, they don't want to hear the truth. They really
Wanna lie
resist.
harder.
They really resist to that truth, and they try to find another way to tell their own story, regardless of the starking truth. Like they still find like a way to go around it, because it doesn't. The truth can make you feel so uncomfortable. Like if your life is one way and it's gonna shatter your life.
If you're being paid to
Yeah.
support a lie, then it's going to be very hard to see the truth. And
Yeah, or maybe having your identity built
Yeah.
around that lie.
Yeah, you don't have to be paid. It's just maybe you're very comfortable in your ways. And somebody comes and tell you like this
whole thing is
this
not
thing
real?
is not real. It's not the way, like it's not the reality. It's not the truth is this one. And a lot of people know that is the truth. And I think even the person who doesn't want to believe it somehow, because it triggers, like you said, triggers something in them, they feel like, oh, maybe this is true, but I don't want to hear it. I just don't want to hear it. I want to keep doing what's been going on and serving me all this year. Why do I want to change what's been working? So it's
it works
a
until
work in
it doesn't work.
yeah.
'Cause, that dissonance, that triggered thing is probably something inside of them that, oh, there's truth to this. But on top of that is a big part of my life, my identity, my income that can't recognize that truth. And so that's a very uncomfortable space that, it rubs and rubs and rubs and rubs until it finally, but that when you feel that truth, when you have it, there's no going back. There really is not. And that's only spreading. I'm only seeing that. Like to see someone who I know in real life, and I can't wait to hang out with him again sometime. I don't know if it will happen, but Dave Smith is making the rounds. He just did a beautiful debate on Joe Rogan with Douglas Murray, and Dave himself will say, I didn't actually win this debate. Douglas Murray showed up and had no real arguments, and I just had to but Dave's a comedian who's kind of became a libertarian, I don't know, 20 years ago, and kind of watched how the world changed, and he's with time got better at arguing and learned more and so he's a really good, clear communicator, and that's why he's kind of like he's been put in a position to defend this truth that a lot of us are coming through, and he's really earned it because through the act of arguing and learning how they kind of scuttle around things. So he's not a historian, he's not a journalist, but he's talked about this. He's been in this so long enough. So to see someone I know personally, like on the national stage, like really holding it down in a very humble, loving way. It's just like the world really is changing.
Is he talking about politics now? Is that
yeah,
what
it came down mostly to what's happening in Gaza, and
right. Okay.
and it helps that he himself is a Jewish American, so it's like you can't throw the anti-Semitism thing at him. It's just like he's just like, this is what I'm seeing, and then this other person, this Douglas Murray, who his position was, well, if you've never been there, then how do you like he came in with all these straw men or all these non-arguments because what it showed is like there is no good argument for what's happening in Gaza, and so they took one of the best debaters in the world, and he just showed his ass for 3 hours, like just how ridiculous, like the conversation couldn't get anywhere because he was so busy trying to throw these things. Well, you're not an expert, and it just kind of
that's not an argument.
It's not an argument. It's just like this
discrediting.
You need to be an expert to see the killing and.
Well, this is the point. It's just like you're bowing down. Who gets to be an expert and who doesn't?
Yeah,
like the experts, and then the same argument, you'd be like, you do acknowledge, like we see all the lies that the media's told us. So for you to come in and there's an expression for it, like to bow down to the expertise, or there's anyway, that like who gets to be an expert? We've been lied to by experts for our entire life. So for you to say, well, until someone's been certified to be an expert, well, who gets to certify that to be an expert? Like that's this whole idea of fact checkers. Like this is a very ridiculous thing that's finally being exposed. But that type of argument worked for a while, and so to see him on a national platform being completely ridiculed and people seeing through these logical fallacies, it's really lovely. It's really
lovely. Yeah. That's great. The Pope died yesterday.
Yeah.
They announced it yesterday.
Yeah, they announced it.
When did
No,
he
but
actually
like he
die?
met with J.D. Vance,
I don't know.
and
what
then
to
he
believe.
died 2 minutes later. He saw the devil.
He killed
and
him. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what to think
This
about
is
that
the-
Pope.
this is
I
the
mean,
joke.
I was
Who cares?
Yeah, I was
Seriously,
born
like, he
in a
was-
Catholic family, baptized Catholic, but then my family left Catholicism. But I've been in some Catholic church recently. But some people say like he was more of a people's pope. Other people like,
Oh, everyone loved that Pope. I mean, I
But
really.
still, there was a lot of scandals, and he just brushed them.
But the
away,
I mean, he's the
you
Pope,
know.
right? So
the
just
whole
See, it's
institution
like-
of the
it's like-
Vatican.
it's like-
Exactly.
It's like
Seems
politics.
pretty
You think
corrupt.
a leader like is great, but when you enter that circle or that environment, it's corrupt and it's not good. So you have to. Otherwise, they're gonna remove you. You know, if you're
Yeah, he's
becoming
playing ball.
too revolutionary, they're not gonna be there.
I heard like a channeling that that was done way before about this Pope, that he was gonna. It's funny you said that because in the channeling it said that before the last Pope dies, he will see the devil.
I am a prophet.
and that this will be the last
Yeah,
Pope.
that's been a prophecy.
This is
that's
the
out there.
last
This-
pope.
I don't know.
No, I think they're gonna find.
They're gonna
very
find
quickly.
another one.
Yeah, they have a lot of cardinals
For
just
sure,
waiting.
for sure.
But it is an
But it would be
institution that's
interesting
ripe
if
for
this will be the last Pope. I mean, the new one they didn't.
They have to vote for him
Yeah, they
now.
didn't, but they have to nominate first, and then they have to vote, and then they have to inaugurate. So. ah,
Takes a couple weeks. Who knows? where
yeah,
I'll
who
be
knows?
at
Yeah,
then.
exactly. Who knows
We're
what's
gonna
gonna
have
happen?
another old guy. Same.
One of the ones in the running is black from Ghana.
Yeah, an
Might
African
be the
one.
first black.
First
pope.
African pope.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm so over these religions. Seriously.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but these anchors, like the Queen dying, that was an anchor. The Pope dying. If there's no more Pope, that would be great.
They have to
That's
dismantle.
like-
well, it means they have to dismantle the whole Catholic Church.
I don't know how they're gonna do
Like,
that.
what are they're gonna start like? What was gonna happen to the Vatican? Like it's the whole institution.
Fine, I'll move in.
I'll
We'll
be the
take it.
first popess.
Popes. Yeah, that would be something. See, we're all like, oh my God, a black Pope would be amazing because they were all white, old white dudes.
We
gonna
saw
make
what
any
Obama
sense.
did for America.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Vatican can.
Could do, but a
You know,
women.
black women. You give them power, they all become white. Everybody becomes white.
No truer words have been said.
No, I mean either the new guy comes in and he's kind of in control of like dismantling it, or for whatever reason they, you know, the rifts or the differences in the various factions of the papacy or the of Catholicism can't come to a conclusion, and that kind of accelerates the downfall of a. But I don't know. Apparently, more people are turning to Catholicism.
No, it's Islam, actually.
Well, that too, but
It's
the
the
more people are
first,
kind of turning towards organized
big
religion.
growing religion now is Islam.
But yeah, I did hear that there was some current like of younger people
Yeah.
turning
there's-
back to organized religion.
Yeah, and hopefully, like in a way that's a little more autonomous than the Catholicism that I was raised with. But I
I
don't.
think social media is helping a lot with spreading the word of Muhammad right now.
Yeah,
And
Well, I think
there's
it's
like a, you know, the narrative that's been going on is like all terrorists and all this. Like now it has changed because there's a lot of Muslim people, like couples, like the woman with the hijab, and they show how like they're just normal people, and then that narrative is debunked. Like
With good
we're-
values.
Yeah, we're just here trying to do whatever, like just raising families, loving each other, like whatever. But we're Muslims, and their values is like, I'm gonna take care of my wife, and all the women's like, oh, those values have been gone forever. Like we have to do everything, and it's like, no, in Islam, you have to provide for your family. The man is the one providing, and blah 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 blah. So people are attracted to that message, and I think.
Yeah, I think this chaotic world is people kind of got looking for some truth to hold on to find, and so I think. I think there was a part of in my awakening where I thought all organized religions wouldn't be a part, like would be kind of just decimated. But I think there is a place for awakened souls. Not everyone has to be fully autonomous, but to like kind of, I want a community where people share my values. And
Of course.
I got to sit in my an Easter service in Minnesota, the church that my niece likes to go to. And it was a beautiful service, so beautiful. And like everything that was said, like I didn't, none of it went against my belief. And it, there wasn't a big message of fear or God, so all that in that particular sermon, who knows? I don't know what they preach on the regular basis, but it's just like finding the divinity in the others around us and loving one another, and Christ appears to us as the other and as an opportunity. It's just like, I
that's
don't
nice.
disagree with any of this. This is really beautiful. And they had a lot of little kids, so their families are growing. And because, around here, you don't see a ton of little kids. I live by a school, so I see a certain amount. But like, I don't know what the growth rate, the numbers are, but I feel like post-COVID, especially with the cost of living, not a lot of people having kids. So to see like kids get together and having fun and dressed up for Easter, it was just like, I'm down for all this. I mean, I wouldn't go to a church on a regular basis. Dancing is my church. I don't want to run a church. I don't want a congregation, like none of that. But for some people, that works
their
for them.
community.
Yeah, that's
how they
beautiful.
Spend their time
And
and
so I imagine
connecting.
Islam
Yeah,
having a similar-
yeah.
I mean, I guess religion at the root of it is the first kind of community, like spiritual community model at the root of it. Like that's what organized religion's intention was. Let's
Find like-minded people.
exactly, assemble and worship together type of
Yeah.
thing.
And it was completely distorted. Like it can, which it can be. I guess so. It's like that's the thing that's maybe different, like hopefully different now. Is it's like I understand that I'm part of this, but I'm not giving up my authority. I'm not letting a priest tell me how to live my life, or there's still some people who subscribe to that. That's fine. That's their path. But maybe this more elevated form of, because I look back like at organized religion is like from my perspective here, it's just like was like for a less mature human. Like our consciousness needed someone to tell us, hey, if you don't act like this, because there are repercussions.
Yeah.
But if you're not thinking far enough out, you need something a little more immediate. It's like, well, God says no. Like if at a certain level of consciousness, if that's effective, it's effective. But what happened is we elevated past that, and the message didn't change much, and so that's why we saw people kind of falling out of it. Is it's like it wasn't serving anymore. But now, if we can come back to it now from a more elevated place, I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, but organized religions are. I don't know. I'm just not. I feel
It's
like
not for
it's a lot of control. Like they control you in your bedroom. Like it's a lot. It's just they tell you who you have sex with, when you have sex, how you have how you deal with your parents. Like sometimes it can be okay, but most of the time it's just control. You're controlling people's minds and actions, and you feel like you can't do anything because somebody's watching you all the time, and it becomes a lot of. It's very oppressive.
I mean, it's definitely not for us anymore. Organized religion,
yeah.
and for me, organized religion at the end
And
of
it's
it,
a lot of fear. It's based on fear.
It
Like
robs you of your
it's
sovereignty.
Yeah.
No, that's the thing. If it is as long as it's not a fear-based
Yes,
thing,
it is
then
100% fear-based.
all of it now.
Well, the one I know for sure.
Yeah, the one I grew up with.
Yeah, the
was
one I
very
grew up is
fear-based,
very
yeah.
fear. Like children, you teach them a lot of horrible stuff that
Well, that's the original
That's
lie,
gonna happen
right?
to
There's
you.
a ton of lies in the
Yeah.
world. There's layers and layers of lie, but it all stems from one lie. And what is that lie? That we are weak and small and not divine, and everything else flows out of that. So you can spend your life like trying to figure out all the conspiracies and what's real and not, or if you can skip all past that, jump to the front of the line and just recognize, no, I am divine. I am God. This planet, this beautiful planet, was here for me and all my brothers and sisters.
and it's very divisive. It's like everybody thinks their religion is the one and is the best one, and
that's
it's
how
the
you
last.
keep the lie in place that we're
So
small.
you learn to love just your people, and you don't love the people, the others. One thing happened to me once. It was so funny and disturbing at the same time. I was on board in an airplane, and there was this old lady, and I helped her get her luggage out of the thing, and that's a Moroccan airplane, so most of the people were Moroccan, and this old Moroccan lady, she started praying for me. She's like, I hope God gives you this and that and that, and she started cursing the Jews and the Catholics. I'm like, what the fuck is this prayer? Could you just say thank you and like, let me go? Like, she was like, I hope God gives you everything and take away everything from all the stuff that He's gonna take away from the Jews and the Catholic, give it to you. I'm like, I don't want that. That's hilarious. She was like, I hope he curses this. I'm like, okay, lady. Okay.
Time out.
Goodbye.
true though. It's
I have a
implanted
visual
inside
now.
of
inside
us.
of them that we are better and we have to curse the other religions because they didn't follow the true
It's not enough
message.
just to be better. We also have to actively
because
curse.
They don't believe in the same God that. Oh my God!
That's
It's
so
just like
funny.
it's just like okay, lady, enough, enough mint tea for you. That's funny.
Are there any Christians in Morocco? Or
The Christians are not Moroccan, it's mainly like French, but Jewish Moroccans,
Yeah, there's some Jewish Moroccans,
there's
yeah.
a
Still, or did they
small,
mostly
still,
emigrate? Oh.
no, Moroccan. They were born family like generations.
No, but like, have they just gone to like North America and stuff, or there's still a sizable population in Morocco?
In Morocco, there's I think a lot of them left to Israel because I don't know if people know this, but on when Israel started like asking Jewish people to come, like after the 2nd World War, they paid the king of Morocco for Jewish community. So they started selling Jews to Israel and sending them for like
Right, they wanted to beef up the
like
population.
$1,000 per head or something. Yeah, so there was a community
They were
that
highly encouraged.
to leave.
make the-
Yeah.
And then when they got to Israel, they changed their family name to an Israeli family name.
That's pretty common. A lot of European Jews have more ethnic sounding, less European sounding names. Like Netanyahu
Yeah.
is more of a. It's actually his birth name is a very Polish sounding.
Yeah.
name.
Yeah.
Correct. So they did a lot of that to the Moroccan Jews. Yeah, because I know a lot of Moroccan Jews that.
They immigrate. There's a lot of Moroccan Jews here.
In Montreal.
Yeah, in Montreal.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Well,
I grew
yeah.
up with my circle of friends with a lot of Moroccan Jews, and so I know a little bit.
But they have a good life in Morocco. Like, there's no problem. Like, they live.
But I think around that time, like when around the inception of Israel and Israel kind of like there was some kind of, I guess, sentiments that started being felt by others, like by the Arabs I guess of.
No, but in Morocco, there was a very special law that was mandated that we need to protect the Jews. So the king came out and is like, the Jewish community is safe here, and we're gonna put like. There was
This before or after he got paid to send a bunch of.
in between.
Yeah, which made them more hated than anything else because the king is coming out saying, "Oh, we need to protect
protected
them."
class.
Yeah.
So because I know my friend was telling me that her dad was kind of like, her dad.
He's really not a
For me, I'm
like
just
a performer.
first,
Like,
no, I'm so not a pro. He was chassé. He was thrown out of Morocco as a Jew. Yeah, well, not technically, like not by the government and everything, but like by social pressure. Okay. Like, okay,
Maybe,
go, like go,
maybe.
go to Israel.
well, I know there was an incident like maybe 20 years ago in Morocco. Somebody just shot a Jewish guy in his shop, like an old Jewish guy who owned the shop. Somebody came and shot him, and it was a big deal. back
So there was
then.
still
Yeah.
some kind of like anti-Semitism that had
Oh
started.
yeah, anti-Semitism is. Moroccan people are very racist.
Well, I mean, Arabs don't like the. I mean, it's
like
I
well,
don't know
I think
any
a
Arab
lot of people are
that's
racist, but like me
not
and my in my
People you know.
experience and my environment, people are very racist.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, like the words they have for black people, they have plethora of
You want to say a few?
in Arabic.
Kate's gonna edit that out into a reel.
Our first promo video.
That would go viral for sure. Come on, Lamia, we're counting on you.
2 minutes later.
Oh my goodness!
It's good to be home, ladies.
Yeah,
it's
good to have you back. It's
Aw.
nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I love you so much. This is what.
Okay.
All right.